Hello everyone and welcome to this week's round 12 review. Sorry this is coming pretty late in the week, especially considering Port Adelaide and Geelong have already played. But better late than never, I'll get into it. Last week, technically I guess, we scored 2,037. Not a bad rank for the round, and it made us go up 28 positions. As you see, we've made 3 trades this week, so I'll get into that in a second. But my team will just be based off this week's, because I'm not going to swap and change everything. So last week, I had the vice captain on... I had it on Oliver, that's right. And he didn't go well. And then throughout the week, I considered Laird, and then I also considered Steele, and I'm like, okay, nah, I'll keep postponing it. And I got to the point, and then I thought of those two, and then I'm like, okay, well, I've missed those two. I missed Gawn as well, and I missed Lyons also. Then I also considered Merritt, who went 137, and I'm like, okay, it got late in the week. Sunday, you're considering McRae and Bontempelli, and luckily enough, I did go with Bontempelli, who went 149, and surely got the 3 votes in a great performance. But yeah, we got my highest scorer as captain, so that was nice. Led with a beautiful 144. I think he's a vice captain option against poorer sides, maybe. It just depends on you. Like, you wouldn't go Led over someone like a Oliver, Bontempelli, Steele type. I wouldn't say. Lloyd consistent with the 108. Hopefully he can go decent tonight versus my Hawks. I would assume he does well. We brought in Whitfield last week, who didn't play, so he'll be playing this week, and hopefully he can go well versus North Melbourne. Short and Ridley obviously been Short's an up and down like roller coaster, and Ridley's just in a worse role. Hopefully I can hold both. I might trade one of underperforming Primo to get more players on the field next week. But yeah, there's been no changes in the backline this week. Had the emergency on Jones and he got a 43. So I'll see how players are performing, how players perform from tonight and from Saturday Arvo game. And depending on how players are going, if I'm having a good week, I think I'll just take Jones 43 on the chin and I won't risk Kymore. But if we're having a bad week, I might consider it. Oliver, obviously, 94, poor performance against the Lions. Or, not poor, but, a bit unders for Oliver. His lowest score of the year without a tag. But yeah, 95, nothing to turn your nose to. It's still a decent score, and he's hit the 700k mark. Bontempelli's I spoke about before, 149. McRae with a 129, you take that. Steele with a 140, who's my vice captain this week against the Crows. I think he's probably the best vice captain this week, along with Josh Kelly, if you have him. Pardon me. Considering Oliver went 204 this year against the Crows, and Bontempelli went 199 against them last year, I think Steele can have a very high-scoring game and a very good game. Something that does concern me is I do think Adelaide could win, or I reckon Adelaide will win, so maybe that affects him a little, but I think Steele will be fine. Oliver got 204 and a loss. Brayshaw 120. I think I'm going to hold now, considering the Fife injury, and his upcoming fixture of Gold Coast, Collingwood, Carlton, and Hawthorn is pretty easy run. Even though he has the bad bye, I think I'll take those scores after and hopefully get some 120s. Poulter, 89, we take that. Unfortunately, he's got to go next week because I just have way too many out. If you look at that midfield, that's a yikes. But yeah, Bianco, obviously, he's going to make cash. Lovely to see with a 75. I've traded that Finlay McRae for Jai Newcomb. I get an extra player on field this week and next week, and hopefully I think Jai can hold his spot. We seem to rate him very well, considering he's straight into the side. So yeah, I think he'll be good. Obviously, people with the bye, Lyons, Zeret, and Dev Robbo, obviously all producing great scores. Dev Robbo, I think originally I thought about trading him, and I still might, because depending on how I'm going after the Saturday, I might trade Dev Robbo to Josh Kelly if I'm having a very bad week. But right now, I think as my plan stands, next week I'll likely go Poulter to Walsh, because Walsh just has a such more sound role, and it is coming off his bye. Gorn with a 138, great performance. Reeves coming in, generating some cash hopefully, and being some cover for this week for Grundy and next week for both Grundy and Gorn. Obviously a lot of my forwards didn't play, but they're all up this week apart from Common, who's a definite fail pick. That's unfortunate, but regardless, Waitman 80, you like to see it. Dusty with a 102, that's getting me to like a 97.5 average, I think, in my side, which is a great pickup at, at his very low price. So Dusty should be gaining that form. I think the Tigs can get up against the Eagles in WA. CCJ with another great performance. I've brought him in this week for Chad Warner. Yeah. And and I brought Ned Reeves in, so okay, I'll get into that. And I got Waterman with a 57. Hopefully he can hold his spot, but with Peter Wright to come back, he might be out. So depending if he gets named, I might have to move him on next week. But the trades for this week is I traded RCD for CCJ, and I put Dev Robbo in the middle, I think. I've traded Finlay for Jai, and I've traded Warner. I moved Combin back into the forward line, and I picked up Reeves. So that's how the team's looking right now. For round 14, we're looking a bit rough, but I think I'll trade Poulter and get Walsh, and that leaves me with, I think, around 17. So maybe I get there's a debuting rookie next week, or depending how Brayshaw goes tomorrow, if he pulls out a poor score and is going to drop lots of value, I might have to move on from him. But I think versus the Gold Coast, he should be fine. I'd love to trade short, considering he has a terrible buy, but the person you'd want to get short to is probably Callum Mills, so he also has the buy, so I don't really see the point. Debuting rookies this week, we have Josh Worrell, who is a defender forward. Unfortunately, Adelaide have the bye next week, so pretty useless. I think Joel Weston, who's a mid, unfortunately, Freo have the bye next week, so also pretty useless. Walker, who's also a Freo player, is a defender. Pretty useless because he got the bye next week. And I think Jai is the last one, who's probably the one you go early on, or who you get in next week, who looks like the best rookie. But yeah, that's me for this week. If we go on to game day, we're going to versus JD, because I know if you follow me, you 100% know who that is. Just comparing, our teams are pretty similar. It's a good start. We're both on 173. I'm surprised he doesn't have Whitfield yet, but yeah, maybe he just hasn't made his moves in case of a laid out. But yeah, that's my team. Had a good start with a Stewart 130 and a Jones 43. Hopefully all other rookies can go well, but yeah. Thank you for listening. I got better this week at making the video shorter. I just tried to speed through it. One thing I'd like to mention is if Grundy is out Grundy's out next week. If we get an update on the Grundy injury and it turns out he might be out a bit longer, I still think you hold. Just because we've got Reeves, and considering Nat Nui's buy has been shifted, so him as an option is kind of gone, and I think he's also nearly at the same price now. Yep, you get like 18k. So anyway, thank you for listening. I hope you enjoyed. If you liked, please click the like button. Hopefully I can get better at getting these on time, but I am at school. I do have school things to do. So there's that. But thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed. Bye.